Lux is a burst mage with several amazing supportive qualities, but with an ability kit full of skill shots, it can sometimes be difficult to use her to her full potential. But just landing skill shots doesn't make you the best Lux in the world. So the question is, how does the #1 Lux player Yozu dominate with the Lady of Luminosity? Well, let's get right into this video to find out. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a #1 player in the world video. My name is Twigger and I am so excited to be making this video on the #1 Lux player in the world. And the thing that I'm most excited about for this video, not only is it my main Lux and we get to see how great this player is, but the #1 Lux player in the world right now is Yozu. Yes, you might have heard of him before. He is a Twitch streamer and a YouTuber. Go and check out his links in the description below. I guarantee you will not be disappointed watching his stuff. Now, in terms of this game, his alternate account, Emperor of Light, I don't know if it's his alternate account or if it's now his main account, but currently sitting at Challenger ranking 508 LP. On Lux, he has a 70% win rating in 70 games. His KDA right now, 5.3 kills, 3.5 deaths, and 10.4 assists with a total KPA of 4.5. KDA, sorry. But in terms of that, it's a little bit skewed because he does tend to play Lux in a variety of roles. Going to the mid lane, going into the support role, and right now in this game, going into the APC role down bot lane, which I'm very, very excited to see. Again, it also goes with his creep score numbers, 139.5 average, but once again, when you're playing support Lux, you're not getting a lot of creeps. In terms of the runes that Yozu tends to run on Lux, in the Sorcery tree, Arcane Comet, Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, and Scorch. In the Precision tree, Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace. And then in the Runic stats, 2 times Adaptive Force and 1 times the Armor. Now, very, very excited to watch this. We're not used to seeing APC Lux down in the bot lane, but I think it's still going to be incredibly interesting. Very valid pick, especially when you've got a Lux going up against a Veigar. Now, I'm going to be mostly focusing on how this Lux plays. But I'm still going to do the commentary for the remainder of the game, try to see how the game develops. If kills happens elsewhere, we can maybe just take a look at what happens around those lanes. But in terms of the start here, very, very standard stuff going for that Doran's Ring on the Lux. And it looks like in this bot lane, we got a Veigar Thresh versus a Senna Lux. Now, Senna, of course, being a phenomenally good champion, not only as an ADC, but as a support as well, getting those spirits to increase the range, increase the crit, increase the damage. Absolutely insane character. And when you've got a Lux and a Senna, the amount of poke from range that you have in this bot lane is absolutely phenomenal. So they did hit level 2 first. It does look like it was first blood up in the top lane. Not surprising to see that Tryndamere versus a Gragas. But in terms of who we got in this game, up in the top lane, we do have that Tryndamere versus the Gragas TPing in right now. In the jungle, we've got a Graves on the red side versus the Hecarim down on the blue side. Zed versus Ahri in the mid lane. And as we were talking about before, Senna Lux versus a Veigar and Thresh. So in terms of how this laning phase should go, I would genuinely feel that Lux and Senna have a really strong advantage here because Veigar doesn't do a ton of damage early. Of course, needs to build up those baleful strikes to get the damage down, and they have so much more poke from this bot side. The Thresh does in fact miss his hook, getting a lot of damage, taking the W going to land from the Senna, doing a lot of damage to that. Ignite going down on both, but it looks like the Senna is going to make it out, not actually having Ignite, but it looks like did get the Ignite down onto that Thresh. Not going to be enough to kill him though. But Yozu actually did land the bind onto the Thresh as well as the Veigar, and that's going to be a kill going in favor of Yozu's Lux. Very, very impressive stuff. And this is in fact an alternate account to Yozu's alternate account named Moonstaff Angle. So already on this account, I believe he has an 80% win rating on Lux, just not as many games that we're focusing on. And it looks like while all that was happening, the Thresh maybe tried to go B in that brush, but the Hecarim was right there to say hello and send him packing to that his red fountain, sorry. Now, in terms of Yozu's Lux, just want to give a quick little rundown. His performance summary, just everything that you tend to do in League of Legends, everything is higher than normal for Yozu's Lux in comparison to an average master tier Lux player. But the most important one I find is that he is excelling in terms of the amount of creeps that he gets. So, of course, getting more creeps leads to more gold, leads to more advantages, and that leads to a very large thing. Minions killed has a steady advantage consistently throughout the game over average average Master Tier Lux players, and that leads to things like getting his first item in 13 minutes and 1 second on average. That's in comparison to average Master players who get their first item in 15 minutes and 36 seconds. That's a 1.5 minute difference that he's getting his first item. And as we all know with the mythics nowadays, getting that first item is phenomenally important. And that leads to the second item where he gets it in 20 minutes and 51 seconds on average. Master Tier players 22:58, so upping that to 2 minutes earlier than average Master Tier Lux players. So already creates a substantial minion advantage, and then uses that gold advantage to get those items early. Now, the first backs did end up happening. It was a very good time for them to go back. They pushed that mini wave into the turret. 26 CS to the 30 on the Lux. 2 amplifying tomes against the Veigar, who just has that Doran's ring and a Tear of the Goddess. But then you're also looking at that Senna, who has the sickle for that extra little bit of damage and poke, and then getting 2 long swords. But we do have the first gank coming in from the red side. The Thresh Flay is going to land onto the Senna. It's going to currently trap the Senna into the Event Horizon, but it's not actually been enough, and now they're all of a sudden turning it around. The Graves is kind of hightailing it out of there, and the Thresh is going to have to really run away from this one. Lux does have Flash available if she wanted to find some sort of long-range Q, but the Ahri did come down here as well, trying to find some damage onto the Graves. The Graves is going to get a very good E over top of the wall, but now he just put himself in a very dangerous area in the enemy team jungle. He's going to smite the Krug to try to keep himself alive for just a little bit longer, but it is going to be to no avail, and that is going to be another kill going to that Hecarim. Very nicely played. Nice chase down from Yozu's Lux to make sure that that Graves was not going anywhere, and another kill going in favor of the Hecarim, already sitting at 3-0, only 6 minutes into this game. Incredible start for this blue side. And it looks like Zed getting a kill onto that Ahri. It looks like Zed did actually get level 6. He is currently level 7, but the Ahri doesn't seem to actually be level 6, so could have very well just been that since the Ahri roamed down, didn't get that experience. Zed picks up a bunch of experience, uses that ultimate onto the Ahri, the level 5 Ahri, and just secures himself a very free kill. And it's interesting that she died because she does have that flash available, so I'm not sure what happened, but here we go. The lockdown coming in from the Sentinel, landing that W onto the Veigar. Lots of damage coming down, but currently not enough. But yes, the Lucent Singularity is going to pop, and that's going to be the Veigar going down. Senna currently chasing. I don't believe she does have that Glacial Augment, but it's going to be enough, slowing down the Thresh with the Glacial Augment, and then getting that Lucent Singularity onto the Thresh to pick up Lux's 3rd kill of this game. So far, when you look at something like this, you'd be very, very happy as a bot laner. You know, you got a 3-0 Lux, and you got a 3-0 Hecarim who's going to be affecting the map, and your Senna, let's not even forget about that, 0-0 and 5 assists already. I think everybody's currently looking at this game feeling pretty darn good about it. They already got a turret plate down on this bot side, so I think they're probably going to go back, try to spend that gold that has been well earned, a couple more souls for Senna. Of course, she's not getting the CS, so there should be a fairly good number of souls dropping for her. And now the final thing that I'll talk about here, while we do have a little bit of a reset, some very interesting stats in terms of damage dealt per minute. 629 damage dealt per minute for Yozu's Lux. That's 100 damage more per minute than average Master Tier Lux players, which is a pretty substantial number. So clearly likes to play a little bit more aggressive, likes getting that damage down, and apparently always seems to land that poke when it counts. And the final thing that we'll talk about in terms of team fights, team fight participation sitting at 86% for Yozu's Lux, and that tends to go into those win categories for team fights, winning 72.7% of overall team fights. It just kind of goes to show that that's sort of what the challenger sense has to be about things. Your in-game knowledge, when to roam, when to go and support your jungler, when to join up for team fights. It's a very impressive thing that challengers tend to do. Looks like that Graves did pick up another kill up in that top lane. I'm actually kind of curious. I'm just going to go back just to see how this one transpired. The Tryndamere was pushing up very, very far. The Graves was here, and the Gragas, it looks like, was just clearing out that pink ward, and it looks like that's just going to be a very free kill here. The Graves is just going to get that ultimate down, and that is going to be all she wrote for the Tryndamere. Very, very well done from that Graves and the Gragas. Now, the thing is, though, about a Tryndamere, which is one of the things that I personally hate facing, is that he can split push basically all game. He doesn't even have to join team fights. That guy will just be at your inhibitor at 20 minutes if he gets his way. So him dying right here, probably not the biggest deal. But it looks like, though, in terms of just some itemization here, we did get the Lost Chapter, and we did get the Blasting Wand out of Yozu's Lux. Now, I'm assuming that he's going to be building that into the Luden's Anguish now? Luden's something. Ludens. I'm just gonna call it Ludens because I forget what the new mythic items are called. I don't know why they renamed things. That's up to Riot. That's not up to me. I wouldn't have changed anything about the names. But he's going for the Ludens on that one. Lots of additional damage, lots of additional AoE coming out of that item as well. I'm gonna be very curious to see what he levels up after, but he also went with the Dark Seal. So it's one of those things that you can certainly do on a spellcaster like Lux, a big burst mage. Having that Magi Soul Sealer, potentially if your Dark Seal does well, could very well come up this game, because if you're already sitting at 3-0, you're probably looking at yourself going, I'm gonna get a lot of kills, I'm gonna get the most bang for my buck by going the Magi Soul Stealer and trying to get even more kills to get an insane amount of damage on this champion. So you gotta love the thumbs up coming up from Yozu. In terms of damage as well, sorry, in terms of items as well, I'm actually not gonna talk about that because we do have the Graves and the Thresh coming in here. Looks like the E is gonna come down from the center to try and make everybody invisible, but Yozu was not in that one. It looks like we are gonna get the Flay onto Lux, but it looks like a huge 3-person ultimate coming down from Yozu's Lux, and that's gonna be a double Lucent Singularity, picking up the Veigar, picking up the Graves, and getting a secure triple kill. But while all that's going on, the Death Bar coming down from the Zed, going to be enough to shut down this Lux, but is the Senna gonna be able to chase this one down? No flash, no exhaust available. Exhaust actually just came back up. Not gonna actually get the Glacial Augment off onto the Zed, but he is gonna get away from that one with just barely any HP, and that is going to be a huge shutdown going in favor of that Zed, picking up Yozu's Lux. Incredible stuff, but that combo was absolutely nutty. Landing the double bind, getting away from that one, using the flash, and then using that final spark to absolutely melt through the health bars of Veigar, Thresh, and Graves. So you never are going to complain too badly when you get ganked in that lane. And look at Tryndamere doing what Tryndamere does best, baby. Just absolutely decimating with that ultimate underneath Gragas' own turret. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Perfect positioning from Lux, and that's going to be a very, very easy triple kill. Graves is now here to gank for that Tryndamere. It looks like he's trying to use those minions to get away from that. Thresh actually roamed over to the Ahri, but to no avail. So we are currently seeing, just because we wanted to kind of talk about how they tend to play these lanes. Looks like I thought that they were going to try to freeze that lane to try to completely screw over this Veigar, but to be honest, when you're sitting at 6-1-0 with that Ludens already on a Lux, maybe you don't want to freeze. Maybe you just want to constantly be pushing your advantage in this lane. Force the Veigar underneath the turret to miss some CS, which means that he won't be getting as much stacks as he normally would be. And try to get this turret, but looks like the event horizon going down. Yozu's just gonna go completely away from that one. Lucent Singularity is gonna slow, and the bind is gonna land, and there comes the ultimate, and that is another freebie of a kill in favor of Yozu. We got a whole lot of question mark pings coming down from the Veigar. Don't know if that was from the Veigar or to the Veigar, but either way, this Veigar not having a fantastic time. 0-4-1, down almost 40 CS at only 11.5 minutes into this game. Fairly impressive stuff, and we're already looking at a 4,000 gold lead at 11.5 minutes with a dragon to boot in the favor of this blue side. So some phenomenal stuff coming down from this bot lane. Currently everything else has been fairly uneventful. Looks like the Rift Herald was summoned in the mid lane for that Hecarim. They're not going to be able to take Shelly down before it does clock a few plates off of that turret, giving Hecarim a nice little chunk of change. Still sitting at 3-0-0 for the Hecarim, and it looks like Lux just clearing out that bot wave. Gonna go B, once again, spend all that gold that they've been accruing this entire time. Noon Quiver currently picked up for the Senna. Not entirely sure what item she's going to eventually go for. It is going to be the Kraken Slayer, so we are going to see that kind of newfound Senna build. I guess it's not too new anymore, but probably Kraken Slayer into that Gwyntu's Rage Blade does an incredible amount for Senna's damage. Senna did try to pick off that Gragas, but he did, of course, just chug that barrel. He managed to get that damage reduction, and he is going to walk out scot-free here. But Lux is going to come to try to save the life of the Ahri, but it is not going to be enough. Too little, too late, and Ahri's going to go down. Second kill of this game in favor of that Zed, who's gone for the Prowler's Claw. So terrifying amounts of damage coming from this Zed, and if the Thresh keeps roaming on this Ahri, kind of knowing that bot lane was sort of lost, smart idea. I'm also apparently going to sneeze because I'm so excited about this game. Might sneeze again because that's what tends to happen to me. But in terms of how this game is... there it was. Okay, in terms of how this game is going to move into the mid-game, we do have the Stridebreaker on Hecarim. I've seen multiple different builds on Hecarim, Divine Sunderer being one of them. But the Stridebreaker, very, very solid item. Gives that little bit of slow as well. So when you get in there with your ultimate or with your E, it slows the entire room. So, you know, having that slow makes it very easy for people like Senna and Lux to land their big combos. So that'll be very interesting to see, but looks like Lux and Senna did move over to this mid lane. The bot lane turret was already taken, so there's no point in them really being down there anymore. They're going to force the Veigar to come and match this with the Thresh, but as we know, this is just the same story that we've seen every time, that Veigar nearly getting destroyed again, sitting away with 30 HP, going to have to walk away and lick his wounds. But Lux right now, 7-1-0, doing an absurd amount of damage, and is almost up 50 CS, which is insane. Now is in fact above the Veigar by 50 CS. Not something you're used to seeing at this high ELO play, but right now the Senna and the Lux just have this lane on lock. They've already gotten a couple plates down onto this mid lane turret. Now, of course, the Shelly was already used on this turret, so they didn't do all this work themselves, but if they can just rotate and get this turret down, they might very well then go up to the top lane and try to do something more there after this one's done. The explosive cast coming out, but it, of course, is not going to be enough to get through that ultimate of the Tryndamere, making him invincible, and he is going to pick up his 3rd kill of the game. As we were saying previously, it doesn't matter how many times you kill that Tryndamere, that man eventually is going to start raffle stomping the game, and he's gone for a Gale Force Tryndamere as well, not something I'm used to seeing. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out later on into this game, but Lux is going to be able to take down that first tier turret in the mid lane, once again going back to spend probably a ridiculous amount of gold. No, they are actually going to cancel the back. If Lux lands a combo, I do not know if Thresh has the HP to survive this. So it looks like the Senna W is going to land, but we do have a gank coming in from this Graves. The Zed is going to immediately go onto Yozu, which is a very smart idea, using that Prowler's Call, but an amazing flash from the Senna. It's not going to be enough, unfortunately. It looks like Graves is going to pick up that kill, and our bot lane duo, our tried and true classic bot lane, has been shut down, which is incredibly unfortunate for them, but some very, very good play from this red side. The Graves chasing down that Senna, knowing full well that the 3-0 Zed had that Lux on lock, using the Prowler's Claw to get back in from the death mark to get that damage on. Event Horizon is going to land onto the Ahri. That is going to mean a very free death sentence from this Thresh. Flay being used, and it looks like the Q from the Graves is going to be enough to hit that Ahri and take her down, only sitting on a Seeker's Arm Guard, so no stasis available for the Ahri to keep her alive, and Ahri, unfortunately, having equally as bad of a time as the Veigar is in their respective lanes. So Ahri's going to have to try to rethink this one, get that Zhonya's Hourglass to maybe keep herself alive through that death mark of Zed, but I think Yozu might have to do the same thing at some point, because Zed now is basically painting a target onto Lux, because that is the character that you need dead. You need that 7-2 Lux to not erase your team with one combo. So I will not be surprised to see Zed just constantly going for Lux. And now the Lucidity Boots also being purchased on Zed with that Prowler's Call. Curious to see what his full build is going to be later into this game, but in terms of just a little bit of an update, 13-9 the current kill score in favor of this blue side, 31.3k to 27.5k, so still sitting at just over a 3,000 gold lead, 4,000 gold lead in favor of this this blue side. So still sitting fairly comfortable in terms of the overall gold advantage and the kill advantage in this game, but losing those few kills here and there is exactly what this red side needs to bring them back into this game. Getting those hooks, getting those event horizons to guarantee those hooks into flays, getting good Gragas barrels to keep people alive and engage. And you've got two people, the Graves and the Zed, who are two people that you want to have kills on. But it looks like the Tryndamere is getting caught out here. The Thresh hook is going to miss. Tryndamere does still have his ultimate available, so he's probably gonna have to run away from this one. The box coming down the slow. He realizes that there's probably no escape. Just gonna turn, getting an incredible amount of crits onto that Veigar, and he is going to escape, getting that one kill onto the Veigar, but is going to eventually be taken down by the Graves. So all in all, definitely worthwhile for that red side to take down that Tryndamere, but wow, nearly two-shotting that Veigar, which is absolutely incredible. But it looks like the Zed coming in onto that Senna, going to be plenty enough with that Ignite to get a kill onto the Senna. And it looks like the Edge of Night currently being completed for that Zed, which is a very unfortunate thing for this Lux. And what's even more unfortunate for this Lux, a three-man dive underneath that first tier turret, and that is going to be another kill for the Zed, securing himself his 5th kill of this game and giving himself 150 gold bounty that I'm sure Lux is going to want to collect. So once again, it's just some great roaming from the red side. It was a great kill from the Tryndamere onto that Veigar, but it's not that impactful killing a 0 and 5 Veigar when you're a 4 and 4 Tryndamere. And unfortunately, that just meant that everybody collapsed on the red side. They picked off the Senna, they pick off the Lux afterwards. So they are going to have to do some rethinking here, because slowly but surely, you're seeing that hole that was dug slowly being filled with dirt, and especially being filled with gold into the pockets of people like the Graves and the Zed, who currently 5-0-1 and 7-2-2 respectively. But with that being said, you have got 600 gold on the board. And speaking of 600 gold, I'm not going to say that anymore, because now it looks like you only have 300 gold. because Zed used the death mark onto that Tryndamere, not going to be enough to actually kill him. He uses the blast cone right afterwards, going to just start wailing away onto the Zed. The Hecarim is here as well to try to show some support, and that was the shutdown going in favor of the Tryndamere, a target that I don't believe the red side wanted to give a shutdown to. Now, it looks like Senna might be picking up this red buff, probably the smarter target to put that on, and the second dragon of the game was taken down, the Ocean Dragon going in favor of the blue side, but the next dragon is coming up in just about a minute here, so going to be curious to see if this red side's going to want to contest with this one. Right now, the Graves is 2 levels above the Hecarim, so if you wanted to have a smite fight, this is the time to do it, when Graves has that level advantage, but it looks like the blue side is already here, already primed and ready to take this dragon down, and nobody from the red side is available for this one, so I think they're just going to give this one up. This is, of course, a very risky dragon to give up. I don't believe the red side were available to even fight this one because their very fed Zed was dead. That's a really fed Zed was dead. That's sweet. And he's on the red team. You know, right, back to the game. So this, of course, this blue side was able to just 5-man them, so even if they were to fight that one, it was going to be a 5v4, so I think it was probably a smart idea for the red side just to leave that dragon alone. They did get themselves a second tier turret in the top lane, getting themselves a little bit of additional gold. But with all that being said, now the blue side is on 3 dragons. That's on the soul point now, so it kind of puts the red side on a very bad spot where they kind of have to fight over that next dragon because they do not want to give Infernal Soul over. So it looks like Lux is going to get jumped in on, but a nice heal coming down from that Senna, and the heal coming down from Lux herself as well with the Prismatic Barrier is going to be enough, and they absolutely blow up that Zed. Incredible stuff. So we are seeing the Zed is trying to jump in on that Lux, but with the shields, with the heals, and with the additional heal coming from the Senna and the damage that Lux and Senna pop out, the Zed just couldn't do it. It is nice having that Edge of Night for the Zed because, of course, when Zed ults in, it's pretty obvious for a really experienced Lux to know to throw her Q behind her because that's going to be where the Zed is, and you could probably just one-shot him right after that. But it looks like an incredibly early Baron call. This is a very risky one because they do have the Scuttle Crab on the red side, so they do know that this is happening. They don't have any vision inside the Baron pit itself because they do have that pink ward down, of course. But it looks like they are going to back away from this one. That was a very ballsy call, considering that they don't have a fantastic Baron killing team. But I do love the gusto of making that call, maybe baiting them in to potentially have a little bit of a fight here. The charm is going to land from the Ahri, and that's going to be, of course, the Q coming down from the Lux, which is going to be her 8th kill of this game. Ultimate coming down, taking out half the HP of the Veigar, and it looks like Graves currently is on the run. But can you outrun My Little Pony? He is actually going to run away from that one. The red buff doing quite a bit of damage, but it is not going to be enough to get him away from that one. And it looks like Graves is going to have to go back to the base, and lick his wounds, and it looks like right after all of that, they are immediately going to go right back onto this Baron. They apparently like their odds on this one. Would probably be nice to have the Tryndamere there because he does a ton of damage to a Baron, but they are slowly but surely taking this thing down. 7,200. It is being chunked. They do not have the Graves around here. He's currently sitting in base. It would just be a miracle shuriken from the Zed. He's going to put a shadow into here, trying to take down that Tryndamere, but Tryndamere, of course, does still have his ultimate, so he's just going to pop that ultimate and continue to wail away onto that Zed, heal up with his Q, and that is going to be all she wrote from. But Gragas comes in with a huge explosive cast to steal the Baron. Hecarim did not have his smite available, so Gragas, even though he is building tank, had enough damage with that ultimate to secure his team the Baron, and that might be all that they need to bring themselves back into this game. The smoke screen is going to land from the Graves, but it looks like the ultimate coming down from the Veigar, doing an insane amount of damage and giving a shutdown over to the Veigar, and it looks like the Senna trying to get away from this one is going to be able to dash away using that, I actually don't know what they used. They flashed away, sorry. Getting away from that Gragas and the Graves, and my word, was that a series of events that was very unfortunate for that blue side. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to go for that Baron when they didn't have Smite available, but amazing timing from that Gragas with the explosive cast to land that steal. Beautiful stuff. So going back to the Lux here, because this is what we're here to talk about, this is what we want to watch. 9-3-1 has another bounty on their head, 150 gold, and they do have the Ludens completed. They went for the Horizon Focus, and they have the Sork Boots. They do have 5 stacks on their Dark Seal. I don't know if that's going to be built into a Magi Soul Stealer, but we can only hope. As viewers, we hope that it gets turned into a Magi Soul Stealer. But a couple interesting things about Lux with the Horizon Focus. I think it happens to be one of the better items to build on Lux because tons of ability power, but the important thing is the Hyper Shot. Damaging a champion with non-targeted ability at over 700 range or immobilizing them reveals them and increases their damage taken to you by 10% for 6 seconds. Now, there's a couple reasons why that's so important. First of all, your ultimate is way more than 700 range. So if you land that thing on somebody, additional damage, you gotta love it. But then it's additionally, if you land your double Q on 2 different targets, the remainder of your combo is going to deal an additional 10% damage, which is absolutely absurd, the amount of damage that does. Looks like the Veigar actually timed that ultimate incorrectly. Thresh is probably going to be able to get in on this one. He's going to flash to this. Is he going to be able to land the play? He does land the play. He tries landing these auto attacks, but the Senna is going to be here for the heal. The W coming down, landing on the Thresh with the Event Horizons to keep the Senna in this range, and that is going to be another kill going in favor of Veigar. Unfortunately, with that Event Horizon, there was just nowhere that the Senna could go, and unfortunately, Lux was not there for the follow-up. The ultimate is going to come down. The Thresh is going to use his stopwatch, keeping him alive through that ultimate. He could have very well just juked upwards and he probably would have been okay, but utilizing that stopwatch, probably the smarter idea here. But Red Side is using this Baron buff to an amazing effect, taking down some kills, getting the kill onto the Senna, and taking down another turret. This is one of the first times in this game that we're nearly edging on an even gold score. 44.4k to 43.6k. 19 to 15, still in favor of the blue side. Tryndamere is going to go down as well. Here, hold on, I've got to see this. So while all this was going down, the dragon does come up, and Graves is going to solo this one. So going to prolong that soul. But it looks like the Tryndamere just doesn't have his ultimate available, and Zed just does an insane amount of damage. Pop backs to a shadow, and that is going to be it with the ignite. So wow, free kill for that Zed. Of course, like knowing the timer of that Tryndamere ultimate, when Tryndamere doesn't have ultimate, I believe that Zed can beat him. But of course, Tryndamere's just kind of been running circles around him because he has that undying rage, so the death mark doesn't really matter. It's not really a death mark. It's more of just like, you know, a mark that's probably not going to do much. But in terms of champions kind of coming back, seeing a little bit of a renaissance here, Veigar picking up 3 kills in the past few fights, and now he has a 300 gold bounty. So it's still very, very far from this Veigar matching the Lux, because Lux 198 CS to Veigar's 132. So he's got a long way to go. He's still super behind in terms of gold. Looks like Senna going to start that blue buff up and give it over to this Lux. Oh, actually messing. Oh, he does end up getting it. I was gonna say, I was like, are they gonna mess this one up? Is it gonna reset? But no, they are experts. Come on, these are challenger players, people. They know what they're doing. So once again, 3 dragons in favor of that blue side. We are going to have to wait about another 4 minutes for that next dragon to come up. Very, very impactful play from the Graves soloing that dragon. Lux did land an event, sorry, Lucent Singularity, and there's the ultimate. Not going to be enough, but oh my word. And the Senna ultimate comes in. The double long range bomb from downtown is going to be enough to secure that kill onto the Thresh. And as we were talking about previously, it is the Kraken Slayer Gwinsu's Rage Blade build. So Senna currently sitting on 212 AD, which is absolutely incredible, and our Lux sitting at 320 AP. Deathmark coming down onto the Lux once again, has that flash available, so he's gonna get away for now. Deathmark is gonna be enough though. An amazing 3-person three shuriken landing onto Yozu's Lux is gonna be enough to finish that one off, claiming another bounty from Lux. And it looks like Veigar with that ultimate, of course, gonna get another kill over onto that Ahri. Ahri not the most impactful target right now, currently sitting at 1 and 5, but I believe Veigar will take any kills that he can currently get because he's still sitting at 4, 6, and 3 with a huge CS differential. But you know, slowly but surely, you know, the Baron kind of was the catalyst here. And another thing to kind of talk about, look at all the ward coverage that they've got in the blue side jungle. It's absolutely incredible. The blue side cannot walk into their own top side jungle without being spotted. And when you've got an assassin like Zed, when you got the damage from Graves, you got the Event Horizon coming out from that Veigar and the Thresh hooks, you know, you need that vision. You need to be able to walk into your jungle, or else you are just going to get absolutely picked off. So very interesting development from Lux's build, going for that cosmic drive. Not something that I'm used to seeing on Lux's. Now, this might just be because of the team that he's facing, but 75 ability power, 200 health is going to be fantastic. But what I think they're really looking for is that additional ability haste that you get from cosmic drive. Not just the 20 ability haste, but of course, if they have over 160 ability power, they gain 20 ability haste additional and 24 movement speed. And of course, 326 ability power on our Lux. Not worried about that 160 mark. They have far surpassed it. So they're currently sitting at, I can't even see the ability haste. Where is it? Why am I not finding it? Oh, it's not even showing me it there. That's odd. Probably quite a bit. Yeah, for some reason, it doesn't seem to be showing up what the ability haste currently is. Yeah, so don't really know. But currently, quite a lot, I would say, in terms of the itemization. So, gonna be able to throw out a lot of additional spells. 35-second ultimate timer, you know, 4 seconds, well, almost 5 seconds on the Loosen Singularity, and a 5-second bind. Like, there's a lot of spells that Lux is gonna be able to throw, and of course, since they are running that Presence of Mind and Mana Flow band, mana's not gonna be too big of an issue for Lux, and you've got that Lost Chapter aspect from the Ludens, so they will be able to throw out quite a few spells during these team fights. Tryndamere, once again, getting into a fight with the Zed, but once again, Tryndamere now does have his ultimate available, so he's not gonna die to this one. Still taking a lot of damage, though, but did not get the ultimate baited. Graves is gonna jump over here on this one. You wanna put a pink ward down and use the ultimate, but it's not gonna be enough. Once again, the Q just coming out from that, Tryndamere is gonna keep him alive, but with Graves showing down in the bot side, this means that the Baron is currently unprotected by a jungler. Graves is currently running up as fast as he can. The Thresh is here with the Veigar, so it doesn't look like the blue side is gonna go in on this one. Very interested. If the Lux lands a Q onto the Veigar is absolutely dead. I think for most of these champions on the red side, if Lux lands a binding, they are probably dead. Loosen Singularity and the ultimate, and that is going to be enough. Forget the Q. You don't even need the Q. You just need to throw out your E, throw out your ultimate, and that is going to be one dead Dark Yordle. But it looks like Graves, during all that, is going to seal away the red buff, and the Thresh is going to get him out of that one. But are they going to be able to follow up? Ari does not have her ultimate available, so it doesn't look like they're going to get a charm out of that one. But it looks like we do have kind of the 5v4 brewing here. Speaking of brewing, Gragas is currently very, very tanky, almost 3,000 HP. But it looks like the Ari is going to be caught out here. I have no idea why they decided to walk through that one. But the Q is going to land onto the Graves, but it looks like the Thresh is, of course, going to get that lantern into safety. Hecarim is here to defend the Lux, but a really nice explosive cast. Going to push the Lux into it. Senna going to get that ultimate off, but it's not going to be enough to get through that death mark from the Zed, but a huge amount of damage. The Q, the E, and the ultimate landing from the Lux is going to kill the Thresh, and Hecarim is going to pick up the Graves. Tryndamere on the backside of that one is going to pick up the Zed. Veigar is looking for this low HP Lux. She does not have that much health, and the Veigar has an ultimate, but it looks like he is going to back off of this one. Hecarim is going to go for this dragon while all this is being said and done, and Lux is going to come down for some support because Veigar has a lot of AP, could very well steal this. Hecarim does have his ultimate available. Tryndamere also going all the way into the enemy team's base to secure that kill. But here comes the damage coming in from the Lux. If they can just kill this Veigar, there should be a free dragon, and it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Infernal Soul is going to be going over to the blue side, and I could not think of a more fitting soul to go on to a very fed =1 Lux in the world than Infernal Soul. So 30 minutes into this game, we do have that Infernal Soul going over to the red side, 26-20, 57.7k to 54.3k, still sitting about a 3,000 gold lead in favor of the blue side. Now, what the blue side needs to do now is start setting up that vision around that Baron pit. You have an insanely strong Tryndamere, 7-5-1 with that Infinity Edge and the Vori Quick Blade and the Gale Force, but you've also got the Lux, who did in fact build the Magi's Soul Stealer, ladies and gentlemen. This was exactly what we wanted to see. Incredible item if you can get the kills. Now, I find most of us think that this is a fairly cursed item because every time we buy it, we all of a sudden lose all the kills that we had. So I'm very curious to see what the #1 Lux in the world can do with this. Probably going to play nice and safe, but if I were the Zed, I would be targeting that Lux every single time. But it looks like the ultimate coming down from the Zed and from the Tryndamere. Tryndamere is going to jump in on this one, flashing in onto the Zed. He does have a heal, but it's not a very large heal. The Ignite going down from the Zed as well. A complete and utter outplay going in favor of that Zed, but they did show 3 members on that bot side. Gragas is going to use that teleport to get into this one. Now, he did steal this Baron the last time, but now it looks like the Hecarim does have his smite available. They are going to run away from this one. Explosive Cast is going to push the Lux and the Ahri into this Baron pit. They're taking a lot of damage from the Baron and a lot of damage going down onto the Veigar. It's going to be all she wrote for him. Lux picking up her 12th kill of this game. Another kill going in favor of the Lux, picking up the Gragas. And currently, the ultimate coming down, not going to be enough. And it looks like the Zed's going to pick up the Hecarim. Thresh going down to that Hecarim as well. Graves taking a lot of damage from the ultimate from the Senna. It looks like the Sterix Gauge is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, but not enough. Sorry, that was the Immortal Shield Bow. And that's going to be all she wrote for this fight. Zed versus the Senna and the Lux. They do have vision on him, so he is going to have to walk away from this one. They are not going to let him be right there so close to that Baron. but it looks like Zed might be edging in for a potential fight here. He does have his ultimate coming up very soon, but he doesn't have that Edge of Night available, so if Lux lands a Q, he's dead. He is going to go in with the Prowess Claw, immediately annihilate the setup, but Lux getting a great binding to hold him back for just a little bit. Loosen Singularity is not going to land, and an amazing triple shuriken, and the E is going to secure the kill onto Yozu's Lux. My word, this Zed is playing an incredible game. If you were looking for a carry, you've got the Lux on the blue side, and you've got the Zed on the red side. Phenomenal stuff from both carries. Now, in terms of how this game moves forward, I am so impressed with this Prowler's Claw Zed. I think it has worked wonders for this entire game, and he's really kind of put his team on his back, getting the kills where they need it, securing the kill onto the Tryndamere, getting a huge 2v1 outplay on the Lux and the Senna. But you really now have to look for this Baron fight. Tryndamere does work against Baron, and it looks like it is actually going to be started up by this red side. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. Right now, Lux is dead. It's going to immediately be melted. Wow! So second Baron of the game going in favor of this red side. Looks like Hecarim is also caught completely out of position here. The ultimate going to come down from the Zed, and that is going to be all she wrote for the Hecarim. My Little Pony is unfortunately going to the glue factory. Huge amounts of damage coming down from that Yozu binding, and that is going to be the ultimate, killing the Thresh, securing him his 8th trip back to the fountain due to death-related illness. The Tryndamere right now split pushing the entire time, 305 farm over the 182. So Tryndamere is doing exactly what he kind of needs to do. Constantly split pushing, bringing people over to him, sending multiple members of that red side to try to deal with him. And he has secured himself an insane CS lead over top of this Gragas. So it's going to take multiple members to take down that Tryndamere. But they did manage to secure another Baron buff. It looks like the ultimate coming down, sorry, not the ultimate, the Q coming down from the Lux is going to, oh, and there's the ultimate, but it is going to be dodged because the Zed just used his W to once again get another kill onto this Ahri. He's just picking her off every single time. Another 8 death champion, but this side is the blue side mid laner. So 14, 4, and 5. 700 gold bounty on this Zed. Now, this is really the question, I guess, is that if the enemy team kills off Yozu's Lux, they're probably going to win these fights, but if they kill off the red team Zed, they're probably going to win these fights. So it's really going to come down to positioning. It's really going to come down to, can this Zed outplay Yozu's Lux? Ultimate coming down from Lux, not actually going to land onto that Veigar. If it did, probably would have been half of his HP. 34.5 minutes into this game, and for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, the gold was even at 66,000 gold. 5 turrets in favor of the red side to the 4 of the blue side. I think we're probably going to be looking for this next dragon coming up. This will, of course, be the Elder. In terms of itemization, Zhonya's Hourglass picked up for Lux. That is the quintessential item to keep yourself alive against somebody like a Zed. He uses his death mark on you, you pop your Zhonya's Hourglass, none of the damage matters, and then Zed used his ultimate for nothing. It's very, very important to have that item, and I'm surprised it wasn't built earlier, because this Zed has been playing super well, but I guess Yozu felt incredibly confident on his Lux mechanics so that he wasn't going to die to that Zed too often, but unfortunately, some outplays have really kind of put a wrench in that plan. So Zed is going to get away with a sliver of HP. 18, I believe I saw that at. It was probably at just a little bit less. So I'm sure Yozu would have loved that 700 gold bounty, but unfortunately, it's not going to come today. 267 farm for Yozu over the 187 of the Veigar, doing very well in terms of overall CS. And the dragon is coming up in about a minute here, so I think we're going to see another very big fight. Now, the really important thing to note about this next dragon fight is that I feel as though with the game already being at 36 minutes in, we have got some very long death timers. And with how many turrets have been taken down on both sides, I feel like if you've got an ace over this dragon, you could be looking to end the game after this one. So both teams have to position themselves very quickly. Now, we do know how fast the red team takes down objectives, and it looks like currently this Elder Dragon is no exception. 2,000. And it looks like the red team is going to secure that one. I thought the ultimate from Lux was going to be enough, but it is not. The red team securing that one, and now the blue team has to run away from this one. That is just going to be way too scary. The ultimate, sorry, the E coming down from the Lux is not going to be enough to take down the Veigar, and the Senna ultimate also not enough to get through the shield, that lantern that Thresh threw him. So Veigar is going to barely survive that one, but I was almost sure that Lux ultimate was going to steal that Elder Dragon, but now they've got to be very nervous on the blue side. The Elder Dragon is an incredibly powerful buff, especially when you got somebody like a Zed who's going to do a ton of damage. It looks like the ultimate coming down from that Tryndamere, of course. The Elder Dragon is trying its best to kill the Tryndamere, but it just can't. The third time's the charm for the Elder Dragon. Sen is going to take down that Zed, and so it's a 1-for-1 trade right now, but the turrets are going down. Lux is going to land a huge combo onto that Veigar, and it looks like Gragas is the next target. Hecarim in the backline trying to kill this Graves, but the Immortal Shield Bow keeping alive for just a little bit longer. Gragas is going to try to get in here, but Lux is currently very healthy, landing the Lucent Singularity onto the Thresh. They like their odds on this fight because they have the Elder, but it's currently not working out in their favor. Lux is going to get that E down, not going to be enough damage to kill the Graves, but the flash coming down from Lux, not going to land the Q either. Graves is going to fall down to that Hecarim, and Gragas is going to fall to the Ahri. I don't know if he really wanted Ahri to get any kills because she's currently 2-9, but phenomenal hold coming out from the blue side. They had the Elder Dragon on the red side. They tried to dive underneath that turret. I think incredible play coming down from that Tryndamere, baiting the Zed ultimate and getting him incredibly low. Tryndamere going off onto that Veigar as well. Like, it was just a very, very nice play. And Yozu playing so far back kept him safe during that entire fight, and he just kept on hitting those Qs, hitting those Lucent Singularities, and picking up another few kills. And as we can see, what I'm very excited about is that Mejai's Soul Stealer is now sitting at a sweet 25 stacks. There's the EQ combo coming down from Lux, and that is going to be all she wrote. Good night, Veigar. That is going to be one dead Yordle. Ahri currently taking a lot of heat from that Zed, but the Hourglass is going to come out to save Yozu's life for right now. He is still alive and another 2 deaths right now. Graves is going to be coming up in 1 second. Same with the Gragas to allow a little bit of support and alleviate some of this pressure, but is it going to be enough? There's currently 4 members coming down. Tryndamere is also joined in the team fight here. Lux landing another gigantic combo onto that Thresh. That's going to now be a 2 versus 4. Ahri's going to try to get in here, landing the charm. Not going to land the charm onto the Graves, but it looks like the damage is going to be enough to potentially take down this Gragas. Hecarim trying to run this one down. Tryndamere getting his ultimate down, trying to kill the Graves. Not going to be enough, and it looks like Graves is actually going to kill the Tryndamere. I think the MVP of that fight was probably that turret, and they are going to get the inhibitor down now. 6 seconds on the Veigar. Does the blue side have enough to take this one down? They do, in fact, have a cannon minion here to take up these turrets for just a little bit. They do quite a bit of damage, but right now the Lux is sitting very, very low. Amazing binding coming down from Yozu, and that is going to be another death on the Veigar. 5-12 right now. Gragas is absolutely gigantic, and I mean more gigantic than usual. Just a little bit more bloated than your normal Gragas looks. But it looks like the blue side is going to call it quits for right now. This is probably a smarter idea because that Zed was coming up. Ahri has no mana. Lux is currently sitting at about half of her mana and the health pool, so probably don't want to poke the Zed bear too much. So gonna go back, reset, spend that incredible amount of gold that they've accrued over the past few minutes. They did get that inhibitor, so currently even in the inhibitors, both in the mid lane. Senna currently sitting at basically a full build. The rapid fire cannon coming out with the collector on top of that Guinsoo's Rage Blade and the Kraken Slayer. And Yozu's Lux just finished off that Rabadon's Death Cap, sold the Mejai's Soul Stealer even though it was at 25 stacks, and opted for that Rabadon's Death Cap. Definitely a safer choice here. And now seeing how much the AP, 748 AP in favor of our Lux. Of course, only has a bit of armor and absolutely no magic resistance, because I don't believe that they currently are fearing this Veigar at all. He has not had a fantastic game, but looks at the red side immediately going in for this Baron. This could be their 3rd Baron of the game, but once again, if a team fight goes wrong here for either side, this is going to be game over for whatever side loses that team fight. They're doing a ton of damage, 2,000. The ultimate coming down, and Lux is going to steal it. Insane amounts of damage coming down. It looks like the Lux is going to take down the Baron, currently dodging the death sentence from that Thresh, going to try to chase him down. Lots of damage going down in the middle of this pit as well. Shut down for the Veigar onto the Ahri, but Veigar is currently very, very low. Lux is going to kill the Thresh. Lux is going to kill the Graves. Tryndamere taking down the Veigar, and Senna cleaning up the Gragas, and the Zed is currently in the base. The lone warrior of this red side is going to have to try to defend against a Tryndamere, Senna, and Lux, all who I happen to mention are quite fed this game, but not as fed as the 22, 5, and 11 Yozu Lux, who is currently sitting with a 700 gold bounty. I do not know if Zed has what it takes, but to be honest, I said that about the 2v1, and he decimated the 2v1. He's going to jump in, and an immediate crit coming down from the the Tryndamere is going to be enough to secure the kill on that one and to secure the win for this blue side. Ultimate's coming down just to show how much they care, and the Nexus is going to fall to the Tryndamere, 46 to 34, 85.2k to 77.5k, and our LUX sitting at 22, 5, and 12 with 307 CS. Phenomenal back and forth game, a really long game as well. Absolutely loved it. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Yozu is the #1 LUX player in the world, and I greatly recommend that you go and check out his Twitch and his YouTube in the description box below. But let's go and check the end game screen to see just how well everybody did this game. What an insane 41.5-minute game. Yozu ended this game with a solid 22 kills, 5 deaths, and 12 assists. Even more impressive than that was his 74% kill participation and whopping 60,713 damage. That's over 10,000 damage more than the enemy team Zed. With all that being said, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get that notification bell on so you won't miss any future #1 player videos. Also, let me know what champion you'd like to see featured next in the comments section below. My name is Twigger, and I'll see you all next time.